Good morning, my family, my friends, all the bots that will watch today, and everyone in between. We are live. My name is Jordan from Without Bounds Now, Without Bounds Coaching. Thank you for joining me. We'll wait for some eyes and ears to show up. In the meantime, thank you to all who watch this now and in the future. I appreciate you, appreciate your energy. Today is Monday, the 7th of October, 2019. And it's a nice day. It's been a great weekend. I was not able to go live this weekend, unfortunately, so I'll recap you a little bit. Let's do a little bit of weekend reflection. And I really love this weekend, not because, I accomplished any major super milestones, but because I followed through on my word, followed through on something that I promised my woman. She's been doing these markets for a little while now, the past couple of months, and she goes and she sells her art there. So if you've never heard of Jupiter Soul, check her out on Instagram. She is an exceptional fine artist. She makes marbles. Good morning, Nathan. Good to have you along. Thank you for coming. So we're doing since I wasn't able to get up this weekend and get out on the live, just wanted to do some weekend reflection. I didn't accomplish like major milestones this weekend, but the major milestone that I could really just nail down is just I spent some great quality time with my woman. Morning, brother. Hope you're doing well. Hope your weekend was great. I spent some great time with my woman this weekend. We got to take her to her market. We did pretty well. It was in Ocean Grove. They had this open market for like artists to come out, and it was like a craft fair, and her stuff was super unique. It was awesome to get out there, and there's always a bunch of dogs that always come out, so it's always fun to meet new dogs. I'm more of a cat guy, so it's always nice to see animals and get to know other people and sell her art and just connect with people. And for this week, last week I set out to accomplish a few things and I got them all done. So, if you've got anything that you want to share that you're looking to accomplish this week, I know for me right now, I'm gonna get done another course. I finished one last week, so I have to finish one this week. What else am I looking to do? I'd like to take on new clients this week, so I'm gonna seek out at least 1 to 3 new clients. And I'm going to, what else am I gonna do? I'm gonna try to do a 24-hour fast. So as a Jew, we have the Day of Atonement is this week, Yom Kippur. And basically we have to fast for it and kind of think about, living a life where everything is just always available to us, where everything good is just always around in abundance. So it's a day to choose the abundance of lack, so to speak, so that you can be reminded of how connected you are to food, how connected you are to all these things that just are so basic in life. And Yom Kippur is a moment before go for a 3-mile walk at 23 Allen. The mental clarity is insane. Are you saying, so like when I'm fasting, once I'm about to hit the 24 hours of fasting, go for a 3-mile walk? And so, yeah, I bet that would be really clear thinking. I've done fast before, not before. Okay. Yeah, so after the fast, you're saying, like right before the fast is about to be done. Yeah, I've done fast before, and yeah, I know, man. It is what it is. But yeah, fasting is insane. I mean, I've learned most of my knowledge about fasting from Rhonda Patrick, when she's on Joe Rogan's podcast or whether she's doing her own thing on her own platform. But it's really remarkable what fasting can do. And, I'm a huge proponent of it. I definitely haven't taken it as seriously this year. just because between like intermittent fasting and trying to do time restricted eating, it's there's just so many different ways to tamper and screw around with dieting, and there's no one way to do it. Good morning, big yellow thing. Thank you for joining. We're talking this morning. We're just going over some stuff from the weekend that we feel worth sharing, some reflection from the weekend. I spent a lot of quality time with my woman. We did some markets, and we sold a lot of her art. If you've never heard of her, she's at Jupiter Soul. But this weekend was a great point to just remind myself that, I'll be with her for 6 years next month. And I tell you, this marks the season when we met. We really started to be together last year around this time, and I've never felt this way for anyone in my life. I truly am always in awe of how much a person can be in love, how much I could be in love even after this long. They say love and relationships are the biggest risk, the greatest risk that you can take. And it's only the greatest risk because the return is just so powerful, such a force in my life, such a force in anyone's life if you work at it. I've had examples of relationships in my life where, you're together for 30 plus years and all you've done is yell at each other for 30 years. And in some way, you just can't make it work as well. But if you work at it, and she works at it, you guys can get through anything. It's remarkable. And we got big dreams. We got big goals. And we gotta stay big focused. So, let's start with some gratitude. Let's get some gratitude out there. I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for all the moments that God shows up in my life and all the people he shows up as. I meet interesting people all the time. I meet fascinating people, and I'm grateful that I'm always able to rendezvous with such insightful, amazing, thoughtful people. People who want to support me, people who want to support my woman. I'm just amazed that, as not as friendly as the area that I live in is. New Jersey is not necessarily equated with niceties, but for some reason the goodness in people just comes out, and I'm able to see the goodness in people and help others just feel at home and feel comfortable, and whether it's vulnerable or just open up, it's rewarding. It's rewarding to see that, and I'm grateful that exists. I'm grateful that people feel comfortable enough to stop by, to talk to me, to open up, and to have a good time. I'm always grateful for food. Man, I have to take a fast this week, so it's notable that I'm always grateful for food. I'm grateful that my woman, after 6 years, finally is coming to the gym with me. I'm grateful that we can work out together. I'm grateful for progress. Man, she's gotten stronger. It's amazing to watch in real time someone get stronger. And I'm so grateful for that. Whatever you're grateful for, comment down below. Make sure you let it be heard. Make sure if there's someone in your life you need to thank today, make sure you thank them. So, one of the things I want to talk about today is promises. Promises. Yes, it's an interesting topic to pick. When I thought about, what are my motivations for this? What do I want to communicate today? Why talk about this? And I thought of a lot of reasons. And the reason that I want to talk about promises today is because I sense that in the world, at least in my area and overall in the country right now, trust is something that's evaporating very quickly between people. Trust is something that is a necessary component for many transactions, so to speak, to occur. We need trust in order to build the foundation of a relationship. We need trust to help things solidify for us. And if you're not focused on building trust in others, if you're steamrolling people, if you're not taking it seriously and you're just going for the other factors, in marketing we call it KLT, knowability, likability, trustability. So know, like, trust. If you're going for those angles of just getting others to know you, good morning, how you doing? We are talking this morning about promises, about making promises, about keeping promises, and the effects that has on our relationships. So I hope you stay. So, why make promises? Well, again, promises make and create the link of trust between people, which at this point in our culture, trust is evaporating. Trust is evaporating fast between people, and in many cases, trust was never even had between people. And I want to help create a shockwave that changes that and help others see that if they can start making promises to themselves and start making promises big and small to others, that you can start seeing trust be built in your communities, trust be built in your life and in your family. And why is that important? Well, trust, again, is the foundation of our relationships. And if we want to see things changing, if we want others to open up to us, and if we want to be at peace in ourselves, then keeping our promises is what allows us to create that link. Think of it like this. Each one of us, good morning. Each one of us has what might be called an inner bank of currency, an inner bank of love, an inner bank of energy, whatever it is. It's precisely the reason that I can be out here at 8 a.m. and be full of energy. It's because I have currency with myself, because I've made specific promises to myself that I've kept over the years that have allowed me to build up this currency with myself. Now, this concept of currency I've developed around my system known as live feedback. So if you ever get the chance to talk to me about it or ever get some coaching on it, it's one of the highest level things that we can talk about. But I'll break it down to a really simple concept here, just so that you can understand. Not that you're stupid or anything, but let's face it, live feedback is it's a massive overhaul to one's life, and once you adopt it, there's no turning back. But the thing about promises and building up that trust and currency with yourself, building up that trust and currency with others, is that it's that transactional relationship, it's that currency between us that makes the world move. It helps us create and establish relationships of betweenness and of connection that allow each of us to do things for one another. Think about people who you ask to do favors for you. Do they really owe you anything? Or, why should they do you those favors? Whatever it may be. And if you promise to do something for them, does that increase the likelihood that they'll do the favor for you? It's a give and take and match model, so to speak. And if you decide that you're going to take from someone, you might want to give to them first. And promises are like that. Promises are a way of ensuring that you can get something if you give. Promises are a way of ensuring that you can continue to get as long as you continue to give. And promises are a way of ensuring that this person's going to show up later. in my own life, I realized that by making these small promises to my woman, by making small promises to my family, and making small promises to myself, I was better able to adapt into the moment greater trust and create inside myself a realization and an understanding that this is like a cushion. It's a cushion for when I screw up royally, but it's also a cushion for building up the space between us and simultaneously helping us get closer. And what do I mean by that? Well, it puts the distance between us in as much that if I do actually screw up, well, it makes it less impactful because I've followed through on so many other aspects. But if I do fulfill my promise, it brings us closer. It allows us to keep establishing, keep coming back, and having that link of assurance and being assured that things are going well and will continue to go well. But the danger of all this is failing to keep promises. Failing to keep what? Promises. And if we fail to keep our promises, if we misfire, if we do the wrong things, if we choose to betray ourselves and betray others, or have a lack of remembrance. Good morning, Coral Stone Nazare, or I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. We're talking promises this morning. We're talking about keeping promises, having promises, failing to keep promises. And right now we're talking about what happens when you fail to keep promises. What happens when you fail to keep promises? So we've built up this idea of building trust, building rapport, building currency, and we're tying it now to what happens when you fail to keep a promise. So in my own life, when I've failed to keep promises, it has crippled my relationships. It's crippled the trust that others have had in me. And that has made my life harder than I ever wanted it to be. In as much that I want to be on good standing with the people who I love and the people who are in my life. And when I don't have their approval, when I don't have their trust, it does impact me. It does make me feel some sort of way, so to speak. And that could just be my own personality, my own maybe need to feel accepted by those who I hold to a high esteem. And when I've failed to keep promises with them, it's created a perception that I'm less than what I can be, or that the person who I show up as is actually less than what I perceive myself to be. And what do I mean by that? It means that this person actually doesn't like me as much, or they think that I'm careless. They think that I'm not truthful with my word, or not able to keep it together. And so that really has emblazoned me. It's triggered me, so to speak. It's triggered me in as much that I do believe that I'm someone who's capable of creating trust, of having faith in me, of others having faith in me, and I want to keep that up. I want to be able to always have others trust in me and confide in me. And by betraying that, by whether it was secrets that were told to me that I revealed to others, things that I was promised not to, I had to promise not to tell anyone, I had to promise to show up at a certain time, whatever the case may be, I have failed. I have failed a lot of people, and a lot of people who I love and care about most. I'm just coming up to an intersection real quick. I'm just gonna make sure I don't die. Let's see. Alright, we're good. Whew. All right. And when I've failed to keep those promises, it makes me angry. It makes me angry at myself. Now, of course, I don't stay angry over much because we're not looking to practice these states of being that would cloud us from taking action in the best direction. But when I've failed others, I found myself exceedingly angry, exceedingly disappointed in myself because I know better and I could do better. And I challenge you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing now, I challenge you to start making promises in your life. That if you fucked up, that if you found yourself screwing up, screwing others over, screwing yourself over, sabotaging yourself, put all that aside and start today with a small promise that you can make yourself that you can keep. Because once you keep it, once you fulfill it, the trust is now starting to rebuild. Hands down. And the same goes for any of your relationships. If you're looking to create trust in your relationship, if you're looking to repair trust, I suggest you start making promises. I suggest that because this is what's going to allow you to have a link and connection to others that serves you and serves them above all. So, what do you think is in a promise? What do you believe is in a promise? Comment down below what you think is inside of a promise. What kind of links are you creating? What kind of momentum do you create in your own life? When you promise something or are promised something and fulfill it? And what do you think is happening? Is anything breaking down when you fail to keep a promise? And are there instances when it's okay to fail to keep a promise? The world happens, man. Things happen to us. Things that are unexpected. And we have to roll with the punches, so to speak. So, when in your life have you had to fail to keep a promise? I'm trying to think now. When have I really had to really break my promise? And I don't know. Nothing comes to mind right now, for better or worse. But if there's anything that I want you to take away from this in this moment, it's that promises can serve you. Serve you to repair relationships, serve you to maintain them, serve you to build that power inside of yourself where you can continuously show up as the person you want to and become more of the person you want to by embracing the connection of your word, the power of your word. Because by giving your word, you give an energy that is a bonded energy, an energy that can change others, an energy that can change yourself. That's transformation in a nutshell. The power of our word. Promises equal power of word. So maybe that's really my own biggest takeaway, my own biggest moment of reflection is the power of the word. In the Bible, it says, God said, let there be light. That's the nature of the word. The entire thing that, the superstructure around which, or the religious superstructure that undergirds our society in this world and in many others, is this religion, whether Judeo-Christian, Islamo-Judeo-Christian, whatever, that starts, the very story, the very narrative starts within the beginning. There was nothing. And God said, let there be light. Not only did he say something, but he said, let there be light. And it was in that moment that the power of the word became the promise that was kept to all beings. That in the beginning, there is light. And when you make a promise, when you use the power of the word, in a way, you're creating light. In a way, you're lighting a torch. In a way, you're lighting that matchstick that if you keep this promise, the fire will only grow. If you keep this promise, the light will only shine brighter, and another match will be lit. And pretty soon, you're in a world full of lit matches, or in a world where there's no light because all of them have been blown out. So you decide, what kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a world where the light keeps growing because our word is strong, our word is bond, and our word is powerful? Or do you want to live in a world of mealy-mouthed, deceptive, false preferences, lying? That's not the world any of us want to live in. So in your own life, watch for the lies, watch your words, and make promises and keep them. So, as always, we finish our time together with some loving kindness, with some prayer, with some meditation. So, if you're watching this is the first time you've ever heard of the loving kindness meditation, the compassion meditation. This is what the monks in Tibet and the Himalayas use to ignite the highest frequencies in their brain, just by thinking of people, thinking of them being happier, thinking of them healing from their suffering. By invoking this energy, by evoking this energy, you can elevate the state that you experience. You can elevate those around you. You can be the person who shows up and changes the energy in the room. And I invite you to do that through this practice. 20 minutes a day will reduce anxiety and will start to build the bicep of the brain that lifts and contracts and shows its shiny bicep brainy arm off to the world with love. Instead of just showing off to be a sexy dude, you're showing off to be a loving, kind individual. So what you do is you bring someone's face to mind. I'm looking at the world out in front of me, but I can superimpose with my mind an image of anyone. So I will call to mind my dad. My dad comes to mind. So you can call anyone you want to mind, and once you have that person's face in your mind, whether with eyes open or closed, you can do it better with eyes closed. Just start sending blessings. One of the key blessings is to imagine them smiling and to just say, may you be happy. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. You may even feel the corners of your own mouth start to lift. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free of suffering. And you go on and on. So you can repeat after me, either out loud or in your head. You can try more in your head in case you're with other people. So let's call the earth to mind. Let's call the whole of the earth to mind. Let's call all this beautiful, beautiful planet that we live on to mind. And let's begin our practice together. Well, let me say hi to the guy coming up and then we'll start. Good morning.
Morning.
All right, so let's call this big blue dot that we live on, this planet, this amazing home, filled with people suffering, filled with people who are striving, filled with everything in between. Call the planet to mind. Call the globe that we live on to mind. Sorry, flat earthers. Not sorry. Call the earth to mind and let us begin. Oh, it's my timer to turn back. May all beings and creatures of the earth be happy. May we all be happy. May we all be happy. May we all be peaceful. May we all lay down our arms and be peaceful. May we all embrace peace and happiness. May we all loving kindness, well-being, and compassion. May we all be blessed with abundance, with wealth, success, and prosperity. May we all be happy. May we all realize the greatest hopes, dreams, wishes, and aspirations of this lifetime. And may I protect you, keep you, and help you achieve your greatest dreams in this lifetime. Now you might imagine their face with a little pain on it, a little bit of suffering, and your blessing is about to melt that suffering away. You ready? May you be free of your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual suffering. May you escape the greatest sorrows of this life. May you be free of suffering. May all beings be free of poverty, of hunger, of strife and war. May we be free of anger, hate, and fear. May we be blessed for now and always. And may we wish this for ourselves and all beings and creatures. My friends, thank you for joining me. Make promises that you can keep. Make big, bold promises and live a full life. Much love. Have a great week. Be well. Good morning.